He says, my wife's job offers a deferred comp plan through her job. What are y'all's thoughts on the pros and cons of that? We are already maxing out her 401k and doing each of our backdoor Roths. So what do you guys think about those deferred comp plans?
Yeah, so why don't you, Brian, you let me define what a deferred comp plan is, how it operates, and then maybe you can talk about some of the pros or cons or how someone decides if they're going to use it. So a lot of companies, when you work for them, say, hey, we're going to pay you X salary per year, and this is going to be your income. But you might be at the place, say, hey, I actually have a standard of living where I don't need all of that income coming in to be able to pay my bills. I would actually be willing to push some of the income that I earned this year into future years. So that way that it's not taxable to me. So I'm going to defer that income to some point in the future. Maybe it's 5, 10, 15, 20 years out. And then at that point in time, I'm going to elect how I want to receive that income. Maybe I want to receive it all as a lump sum when I retire. Or maybe I want to receive equal payments over my first 5 years of retirement or 10 years of retirement. So deferred comp plans allow you to do that. They allow you to push off current year income into the future. Oftentimes, you can then invest those dollars so that they grow, and you get to control the income stream that you receive later on, often building yourself like a mini pension through your deferred comp plan. But it's not all rainbows and unicorns. There are some things you need to think about, and there are some things you should measure before you decide if you take advantage of it.
Yeah, let me first tell you, how is this even possible? If you're asking yourself, how in the world can you take some of your income, not pay income taxes on it until some future date? How does the government even allow this? Well, the way they allow it is that you're essentially saying, hey, employer, instead of taking this income now, you keep it, put it on your balance sheet as a liability to me so that I don't actually receive the income. So that's why it's not taxable to me now. But now you're going to keep it on your liability side as an obligation and pay me at some point in the future. Well, that problem with that is this is the big risk. Everybody who does deferred comp, look at your company, maybe even go pull the balance sheet for your company to see how in good financial situation they are, is because if they went broke before your obligation or promise is fulfilled and they paid you back or started paying the income streams, you'd get in line with every other creditor out there. So that's why you do need to at least make sure that your employer is on good, stable ground financially. I do like these, especially for any of my clients that are thinking that they're going to retire pre-65 or, before 66 or 67, depending on where their full retirement age for Social Security is, because this allows you to essentially, as Bo said, create a pension. Now, there's a caveat there. You need to go read the rules for your deferred comp, because for some of them, if you say you change your mind, or you either get laid off, or you just decide to leave this company. Some deferred comps do allow you then to start getting paid that money over time, like over a 5-year period. But some others, their document is written in a way that it just unloads on you all at once and creates a huge tax bomb right as you change employment. So I always tell people, make sure you read all the rules. This is a very personalized decision, but it is great. I've had quite a few executives who, and here's the cool thing, like you choose that you're creating a 5-year bridge. What if you decide you want to keep working 5 years in the future? Typically, these plans allow you to kick the ladder out an additional year in the future.
There are some things that happen.
So you get to keep kicking it out though, and make the decision and build up your essentially your ladder of deferred comp gets bigger and bigger and creates a bigger compensation bridge for yourself. But you got to make sure that you measure twice on this, because there's a lot of rules, and usually you have to make these decisions really far in advance too. So that's why it typically requires a lot of planning. This is definitely something that when you're like, man, I've never done this. Wouldn't it be nice if I've dealt with somebody who's done this hundreds, if not thousands of times? This is definitely one of those things where you might want to take the relationship to the next level. This is one of those areas where life gets very complex very quickly. And you want to make sure you get it right on the first shot at this.
Can I ping just one other thing on there, one other little question? Kyle, he said, we're already maxing out our 401k, and we're each maxing out our backdoor Roths. where in the financial order of operations do you often see deferred comp happen? Like, is it something that someone who's right at the very beginning of their journey should take advantage of? Or how do you know when it makes sense?
This is, if you're trying to figure out where in the financial order of operations, this is definitely a step 7 hyperaccumulation, because this means you're beyond the basic plans. We're way beyond Roth IRAs. We're way beyond just maxing out your 401k. This is for people in very high income situations. And now you're thinking about, when you get to step 7 of the financial order of operations, is what's the 3 bucket strategy? What am I going to have access to? When do I actually plan on leaving the workforce? How am I going to integrate that into my financial plan? That's why this is a great tool to take into account and use as you do that high level planning.
Love it.